Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Division Z podcast. My name is Jason.
And I am K Cosmic.
My friend, today we've got some Modern Warfare 2 news to discuss. We have a brand new Call of Duty event on the horizon for not just Modern Warfare 2, but the future of Call of Duty. And a little bit of beta talk, a little bit of, I don't know, just some Modern Warfare 2 stuff to talk about to start things off for today. So for those of you who don't know, the other day at Call of Duty Champs, by the way, shout out to the LA Thieves for winning the championship. You guys are the world champions of Call of Duty. And it was a really good match against Atlanta FaZe. I thought it was really good for what it's worth, you know, it being Vanguard and whatnot. But during Championship Sunday, they shared with us some information about Modern Warfare 2, the beta, and the first thing that I want to talk about being Call of Duty Next. And if you guys remember kind of maybe Call of Duty XP from back in the day, or, you know, one of these kind of reveal events like we had for Black Ops 4, it's basically that. They're bringing back that concept, and they're inviting content creators and a bunch of people to play Modern Warfare 2 early and showcase some of the things that are coming in the future for Call of Duty. And it's a closed event, so, you know, people have to be invited to it. And I think this could be something really cool for the community. What do you think about Call of Duty Next?
Well, first of all, I'm guessing my invite's still in the mail somewhere.
Right.
You know, Activision. I'm waiting for it still.
Yeah, so, it's in transit right now. Exactly.
It's just transit, so you know, it's a little late, but that's fine. That's why, bro. I'm not mad. I'm not mad. But first, I'm happy that these events are coming back. I think after, you know, the whole world issue that we're not going to say because YouTube doesn't like the word. It's nice seeing events kind of coming back in person and like the community kind of coming together, right?
Yep.
Like, I mean, do you remember? I remember doing like again the big bad, right? Football games and stuff. It would have like fake people on it, like fake people like cheering and stuff, like green screen people. If you remember that, like, and in a way, you know. I was watching that today, actually, got a bit off topic, and I was like, fuck, man, is that what it really came to? That's adding green screens and you got your football, right?
And cardboard people in the stands,
Yeah, and then, like, honestly, man, super dire, super sad, right? But now seeing, like, events like this coming back, it makes me happy, because I feel like we're getting to a better place, right? Because I think with the COD community, the most important thing is the community. And don't get me wrong, that completely depends on the game's good or not, right? Because the game has to be a solid game beforehand. But games like this, like little events like this before the games come out and stuff, and even after the game comes out, it brings us closer. Like, we all remember the Black Ops 4 reveal event, right?
Exactly.
We all remember that. We all remember the zombies section with Jason Blundell on stage with the blood vials and all the YouTubers going crazy. It was like a magical time, and even though we weren't there, it gave us memories because we've seen everyone go absolutely like ape shit, right?
Yeah.
So I'm glad they're bringing like events like that back. So, I mean, what are your thoughts on that, man? I'm guessing you're excited as me.
I'm excited, man. I think this is going to be a good thing. You know, regardless, you know, like you were talking about with Black Ops 4, regardless of what you think of the game, whether you think it's a great game or you think it's a bad game, I think we can all agree that, you know, that was a great event. And that was something that, you know, it kind of defined that kind of era of Call of Duty where it's like, oh, you know, we're kind of kicking things off and trying new things and trying to be different with Call of Duty. And, you know, it's a very memorable time. And so something like Call of Duty Next is going to be something that is going to be akin to that. And, you know, it's really cool to see some of the content creators that, you know and we hang out with going to the event as well. And it's cool to see that some of these newer creators that have been around for a little while are also starting to get the recognition that they deserve, going to these events and making these connections with Activision, making these connections with, you know, all these people in the gaming sphere, because a lot of these people have grinded their ass off to get to where they are, and it's well deserved. It's 100% deserved for all these creators who have been invited so far. And, you know, get that kind of community aspect going and get that back in the community after this, you know, down year that Vanguard has been. Because with Vanguard, everybody everybody's been so confused about, oh, where's the community feedback? Where's the communication? And nobody really tells us anything until it's like, oh, it's time for an update, and here's all the new stuff that you guys should play, when there's already a plethora of other issues that have already turned people off from the game. And so the communication, there's a bit of a disconnect there. So I really hope that an event like this gives them the opportunity to do more community focused things, and maybe listen to the community more, and have all these creators playing the game early, give their feedback, and actually listen to it. Because, you know, when it comes to early access and it comes to betas and things like that for Call of Duty, we notice that, you know, the way the beta basically is basically how the game's going to be when it comes out, right?
Yeah, there's not really much.
There's not a lot difference.
Yeah, especially with Modern Warfare and the time gap being so like much smaller than it normally be, right?
Right.
And yeah, I mean, the betas are always kind of like that, though, isn't it? I remember when we got the first one with Black Ops 3. Fair enough, they made some minor changes with Black Ops 3, right? But then Infinite Warfare came out, and that was pretty close to release date as well. Yeah. And every COD kind of after that, again, nothing really changes. I think they just do it as like a test, right? Right, this game fucking work. Does it
work? Up, right? Does this work? And can you pause the game? And in the case of Vanguard, you couldn't. But
you couldn't, right? But I mean, just commenting on Vanguard, right? I think we'll all look back on Vanguard like a fever dream, or most of us will, right?
No, yeah, it's a fever dream for sure,
right? But at the same time, right? And I've seen tweets about it already. I cannot wait. I cannot wait for the, Vanguard was actually a really good game.
No, that's not gonna happen.
100% will, right?
Dude, no. Okay.
Yeah, come on.
I gotta be honest with you. Even if that does happen, it's not gonna happen to the extent that like it happened with Black Ops 4 or it happened with Infinite Warfare, where like people actually in like mass were like, oh yeah, these games were good all along. Of course I liked these, right? No one's gonna go back, and like maybe 2 people are going to do this. Are gonna go back and be like, Vanguard wasn't that bad. Because, dude, the vitriol that you see online for Vanguard right now, like after champs, all the pros are like, oh god, thank god I now have to play that fucking game again. Oh my god, that was the worst game I've ever played. Like, the pros are so relieved that they don't have to play Vanguard anymore.
I mean,
like, if they're feeling like that, I think more people are feeling like that than you think. I mean, the game is just inherently broken. It's objectively broken. And yes, the right word is objective, by the way. I think a lot of people don't understand the difference between objective and subjective, where subjective is your opinion and objective is like the actual truth. Vanguard like straight up doesn't work, and it broke aspects of Warzone, and back when the integration happened, it broke Modern Warfare 2019, if you remember that.
It's responsible for a lot
of pain and suffering.
You know something, right? And the thing is, right, and like, again, it kind of shows the honeymoon phase, right? But when the game first came out, I always said that I actually really enjoyed the multiplayer. And to a certain extent, I do. I like the map for the most part, and I like the guns and the kill streaks. The actual game itself isn't the issue for me, right?
Okay.
So basically, really saying that I haven't played the multiplayer in like 8 months now, right? Or how, you know what I mean? Like, I played for the first month, and I haven't touched it since because, COD, it's just multiplayer for me doesn't scratch that itch, the urge for me to play it goes away. It's not like zombies or something. Or right now I'm playing a lot of Valorant. I want to keep playing Valorant. So COD just doesn't scratch that itch, right? But I mean my issue with Vanguard is all the fucking issues around it, And I know there are weapon balancing issues as well. That's a fair point. I meant like in terms like the way the guns feel, and that I thought they always felt quite nice, and the gun sounds are cool and stuff, right? But in terms of the actual game itself, fundamentally, it's just broken. It's just, it's not a good game, right?
It's like, it could be something much better if a lot of those things were fixed. But, the fact of the matter is, dude, is you already have like certain maps in the game that like already are just kind of mediocre at best. And not a lot of people are really gelling with the maps, myself included. And then you also have, high latency, packet burst, terrible spawns, the bullets and shit doesn't register properly either. And it's it's almost like they're just walking through it, not even acknowledging any of this. And just being like, yeah, guys, play our new content, play our new stuff, and don't question it. Here, just keep playing. And, it's just really unfortunate to see. And I shared this on, I think, the last episode of the podcast with Plague Diamond and Zombies. Zombies is also super broken. And
yeah,
the Plague Diamond progress, I didn't even get Plague Diamond. So it's one of those things where, Sledgehammer, Treyarch, Activision, Activision more so forcing the developers in crunch time and, giving them not enough development time for anything that had to do with this game. But, Sledgehammer and Treyarch are definitely not out of the woods yet, because there are certain things that, you kind of go, all right, come on, guys. Like the pause button in Zombies, like, okay, come on, guys. But it's just sad. It's just really, really sad that the game had so much potential to be something better, and then it's just not. And the Modern Warfare 2, kind of getting back on the subject of that, I hope this game actually works. I hope this game feels like a Call of Duty game again.
Okay, right? I know we always say this because it's always the case, but if this game fails, then that's the community dead. Okay?
Well, more of it will die for sure.
Well, yeah, right. But we always say that, but somehow it always comes back, right? But one thing I'll say, and I don't know if it's a tactic or whatever, right? Or I don't know if it's like Infinity Ward's way of not revealing too much early on. Feels like we've not really seen much about the game, Like if we compared it to like last year games,
definitely not as much.
We've not seen like really any proper gameplay, and I know we've seen that one campaign mission, right? Which is all.
And we got the multiplayer map at Champs too. They showed us that Grand Prix map, which I gotta be honest, it looks like a cool map. It looks cool, like visually. It reminds me of kind of like a crossover between Cold War and Modern Warfare a little bit. But what else?
But Modern Warfare also had a lot of cool maps in it. But did they play good? I mean, what was
I mean, what was that bus one? Piccadilly.
Yeah, like think of that map for
That
example.
was just okay.
I mean, I wasn't the biggest fan of it, right? But like again, Luke wasn't that great. But I think the one takeaway in Modern Warfare 2 is if they can fix the maps, right? That's the main issue. If they can make maps that don't have so many camping spaces, we already know doors are going to be in it. So you're thinking, oh, doors aren't going to be in it. It's going to be so much better. Then no, there is doors in it.
Yeah.
I think that's the least of your worries, right? I think it's more bad map design. If the maps are solid maps, right? If they work with the game, then yes, fair enough. It'll be a good game, right?
Yeah.
But if they go down the route of just kind of doing a Modern Warfare 2019 again, then not really. And with it as well, this is a change it's been confirmed by someone who's played the game, right? And like it is confirmed. So this is what it will be like unless they change it last minute, which they probably won't. But sliding from now on, it will not be the case that you slide and then you can aim in and do stuff at the same time. It'll be more similar to Call of Duty Ghosts, where you do your slide and you do like the animation where your gun goes to the side. So that will stop all the jumping about and stuff. And I've also
stop a big chunk of the tryhards.
Yes. Oh no, there'll be other methods, right?
I'm so excited for that.
Something I'm curious about, right? And I don't know if they've confirmed it or not. I don't know if you know. But you know how in Vanguard they were so like showing off the little, you shoot above something.
Oh, blind fire.
Yeah, is that coming back?
I don't know, man. Like blind fire was such a weird addition to Vanguard that like nobody really uses.
No,
I feel like you really only use something like that for campaign, and then that's it. But I don't know. I don't know what this game's next gimmick is going to be. If it's something that actually helps the game and actually,
well, there's supposed to be dolphin diving as well, isn't there?
There's going to be sliding and dolphin diving too?
Yeah, they're supposed to be both. Yeah.
Well,
I don't know to what extent dolphin diving will be, but I know they talked about changes that were coming to it.
I can imagine it being something like if both of them are in the game, tapping the crouch button will make you slide, but then holding it will make you dolphin dive.
As another layer, but to be honest, we're all.
Maybe.
The slide will probably be more for movement, and the dolphin dive will probably be more for getting to ground fast.
Yeah.
So, Yeah, I mean, I think the game, if it fails, then well, I mean, I guess they'll just keep going, right? Like they do.
I mean,
They're
yeah,
just right. There's not
they'll
really
keep
much.
going, but so many people out there in Call of Duty won't. I mean, if we thought that so many people jumped off the train for Vanguard when Vanguard came out, I mean, that train's going to be half empty when we get to Modern Warfare 2, and if Modern Warfare 2 is terrible. So, I mean, it's just really sad. It's really, really sad with just what's going on right now. Nobody no, here's the thing. Nobody is like super duper excited or hyped for Modern Warfare 2 that I notice as well,
Yeah,
because, Vanguard was such a blow to everybody's understanding of Call of Duty, that everyone just kind of like, well, do should I get excited? Is it okay for me to get excited? Is this going to actually be good? I don't know. And so you have this kind of weird energy surrounding
yeah,
it right now. And I think what they're doing for the most part with the marketing so far, like from what we have, is not bad. Like the marketing isn't bad at all. I just wish there was a little bit more. Now, depending on who you ask, right? Oh, well, they're not going to show more because they know the game is bad, and so they don't want to show too much, and they don't want to get people to not like the game before it comes out. Or it's the sense that, or it's the case that, oh, well, they have so many good things, they don't want to ruin the surprise, and they don't want to, give it all away too fast. And then you have the conversation about Call of Duty next and what they're going to show there, right? But, it's just all uncertain, as I think the point that I'm trying to make here. It's all very, very uncertain as to what the reason is, as to why we don't have as much material for the marketing as we did like last year for Vanguard and even Black Ops Cold War. But I think for what it's worth and what we do have, visually what we've seen looks promising, but I'm not holding my tongue until I am holding my tongue until we actually like get into the game and play it. The
mhm,
beta, this beta is going to be a very important beta for Call of Duty for a lot of people
yeah,
choosing whether to get this game or not. And the beta is going to happen the day after Call of Duty next, by the way. PlayStation exclusivity, beta for 1 week, and then the week after that, it's going to be everybody gets the beta, and yeah, I mean it's kind of interesting. I'm very confused right now as to what's going to happen, as to how people are going to receive this, and as to how the rest of the marketing is going to go. I'm very much
yeah,
looking forward to next, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing what they're able to showcase and show us the future and show us new things. But I know I'm really worried that just because there's so many people who are just off the Call of Duty train right now, it's just no one's gonna like it as much, and then it won't happen ever again, and then
yeah.
I don't know. It's just I'm very confused right now, man.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing, right? Is like again, like you say, Vanguard's put the community in such a weird position. We're going into the next game. It's so important it does well.
Yeah.
Because again, more people are going to come off, and like we don't want that. Obviously, we want the
Right.
game to do good. We always talk about even with Vanguard Zombies, right? As much as we joke about it and say it's fundamentally awful for the most part, except Shinonuma. But is that really the
Even that's
game?
broken.
Yeah, right. You know what I mean, right? Like it's just so important that this game does well for the general fan base, and the fact that it's titled Modern Warfare 2, it's not like it's like COD Ghost 2, where like people are like, this game might not be that good, right? Or
Right.
Infinite Warfare 2, where it's like that idea in their mind. Modern Warfare 2 was a fundamental game in the COD franchise, and it's really what made it popular. Like I know COD 4 mostly did that, right? That's the game that set it in stone, but Modern Warfare 2 is the game that brought it from here to up here,
Oh, for sure.
Like that's the game that really thing it. And for them to
It
title it
made
Modern
Call of
Warfare
Duty
2,
more mainstream.
yeah, exactly, right? It made it more mainstream. So there's gonna be a lot of people that are gonna buy this game because they're like, okay, Modern Warfare 2, I loved it as a kid. Let's buy this version, right?
Yeah.
And again, if you piss off that core fan base, they're gonna play it a few times and then not enjoy it. You know what I mean? If it's completely like broken like Vanguard,
Right.
then people are gonna stop, playing it, and then their numbers are gonna go down. And Activision are gonna be like, okay, this isn't good. let's just scrap this game and move on to the next one. Let's move on to Modern Warfare 3.
That's the thing with what's happening right now. They have that DMZ game mode that's supposed to be similar to Escape from Tarkov. And if that can be the next thing that innovates in Call of Duty and people really like that game mode and people are, satisfied with that, and it's something that's it's a deviation from the normal, and it's unique, and it's something that gives COD some sort of identity, then I think this is going to be a great game. And it'll be something that will hopefully be in future iterations if this is something that's like really good and something that people enjoy, because people like Escape from Tarkov. People like, other games in that kind of genre. And so I almost feel like with what Call of Duty is trying to do right now is, they want to stay Call of Duty. They want to stay like, oh, here are your guns and the operators, and they still want to have all of that. But then, they also have to try to innovate, and they also have to try to get people to, like, they got to get new people on somehow. And this could be a way to do that. My only concern with that is I hope Call of Duty doesn't lose itself when it does something like this, right? Because
it's done it before. And if we look back, flashbacks to Advanced Warfare, to Infinite Warfare, right? As fun as those games were, I think it definitely lost a lot of its identity because it just changed so much. And a lot of the fan base thinks that as well. Like,
right.
I know a lot of people love Black Ops 3 multiplayer, right? But when they added an exosuits and completely changed the way the game played, then it definitely did that, right? But like you're saying, hopefully with this, it's a lot more like we can keep that original fan base happy, but bring in new players as well. Because look at Battle Royales, right? It's getting pretty boring. I know a new one comes out every day, right? Let's be honest. A new Battle Royale comes out every day and it does well or whatever. But I think we're going to come back to the more classic, like 6v6 tournament style, kind of like, what I mean?
I think what it's going to be, I think what's going to come down to is, the gaming atmosphere, the gaming universe is so hungry for the next like big trend that, we have to really start thinking to ourselves, can Call of Duty be in the conversation when it comes to the new big trend? Like, if the new big trend in gaming is supposed to be this survival loot and, more hardcore first person shooter like Escape from Tarkov, maybe a little bit more realistic, and the way the guns work and the way everything works more realistic, if that's the new wave and that's what people like and that's what people want to do, I'm not saying it's going to be, but I see a lot of people making it more popular and more people are liking it. But if that is the new wave, can Call of Duty be on that wave, or are they going to be wannabes? Now with Blackout too, right? A lot of people didn't really like Blackout, and so a lot of people are like, oh, Call of Duty kind of has their wannabe battle royale. And then when Warzone came out, it exploded, and Warzone became the big thing. So, will we see a similar situation to that? Will we see this being at the forefront of a new gaming trend? I don't know, maybe, but we have to ask ourselves, if it is, then great, cool. Call of Duty might survive a little bit longer. But if it's not, and everything about Modern Warfare 2 flops, not even just DMZ, then it's like, wow, what happened? Like, not what happened, because we know what happened. Things are just
how did this
worse.
Happen?
Well, I'll tell you, it happened because, Call of Duty's inability to change drastically. Now, obviously, Warzone was the last big drastic change, right? Because of the Battle Royale thing and whatever. But so many people nowadays, they don't have an attention span. And it's one of those things where they're trying to keep people engaged with the same thing over and over and over again. And new season, new content, which wouldn't necessarily be the worst thing in the world, because new seasons of content can be great. And if it's good, it's good. And bring on the seasonal format and bring on seasonal content if it's good. But with something like Vanguard and all the seasonal content with Vanguard, it just hasn't been that great. And so, everyone goes through it in a day and then they move on. even with something like Black Ops Cold War and Modern Warfare 2, even those seasons, even though that stuff was actually good and the seasons of Black Ops Cold War were really good, yeah, it had a little bit more audience retention than Vanguard, but for the most part, nobody has any sort of like long-term attention span anymore to actually sit down and be like, oh yeah, what am I really playing? What am like really think about what you're playing. And I guess a part of that is too, is, you know, maybe they don't want you to think about it too much. Maybe they just want you to keep playing nonstop and they just want you to keep doing something. And at least you're playing their game and at least you're, you know, you're doing something and then, you know, you don't think about it too much. It's weird. It's just weird.
I think it's definitely a lot less about the quality of the game and the passion and more about let's keep these players as long as we can, right? But I have a great idea for a new game mode that'll keep players playing and us enjoying, right? So it's going to be a zombies game mode, okay? And it's going to have normal rounds, but instead of the rounds, you don't progress by killing zombies. You do objectives, right? So you spawn into this map, right? And you do these objectives. So you go to this portal, right? And then you'll get teleported somewhere, and then you'll get a challenge, like, I don't know, defending the skull or, you know, collecting these token things, right? And once you complete it, you'll move on to the next round and so forth and so forth, right? And we won't have to have an Easter egg either because this will be enough for it, okay? And yes, I think that's the way we go with this innovative, you know, how zombies can evolve at least. I think it sounds like a good idea.
But no,
I think we only have 3 of them. I think we only have 3 of them, okay? I think we don't need any more. We don't need any less. 3 objectives that are very, very easy for the players to understand because, you know, they have, you know, they're not that smart, you know? So we have to have these really, really easy objectives. Okay, to keep these casuals, you know, playing our game.
And I think that's part of the problem, dude. Like, the casual fan base is not the problem necessarily.
No,
it's not the problem necessarily because, you know, people play other video games and that's like the world and like who gives a shit, right? I'm talking about, I think the kind of player and the kind of people that make up the majority of just the gaming world nowadays is just like, okay, what's next? Now what's next? Now what's next? Now what's next?
Like you were saying before,
they just play to play, and they don't like
consuming content.
Like they just consume content at this TikTok, alarming rate.
Like TikTok,
the TikTok mentality, exactly.
Yeah, right.
Like they'll consume it so quickly, and they won't really give too much thought as to what they're actually doing, and what they're actually consuming, like. People can, you know, I think the majority of the people out there can put their finger on the fact that Vanguard isn't a good game, like overall, but can they like tell you why? That's the thing. Like, can they tell you why without like parroting anything that even people like us say with our podcast or like some of the bigger creators? You know, do they have an original thought about why the game is bad? And so it's, you know, yes, number one, the Vanguard content hasn't been very fruitful, hasn't been very good, hasn't been, you know, up to par with what we've been used to for, you know, Black Ops Cold War's content being good, in my opinion. And even Modern Warfare, some Modern Warfare's content was pretty good throughout the seasons. So number one, people aren't really thinking about that, and so they'll just play it to play it. Although we do see that a little bit less nowadays because of Vanguard being bad. But for the most part, because Call of Duty is just such this big franchise and so many people are under this umbrella that, like, sure, millions of people are going to not play Call of Duty. And it's proven that millions of people haven't played Vanguard, and Call of Duty's lost hundreds of millions of players. That's been proven. But, you know, for the most part, you still have another 900 million players, and, you know, everyone's going to buy the bundles. Everyone's going to buy every little thing in the game. That's why these bundles and these crossovers are such a lucrative business practice. That's why it's such a smart thing for them to do. You know, all these people who are like of the TikTok generation and the Netflix generation of like, oh my God, that's the thing from the show. I need to buy that. And so they won't give it a second guess, and they won't give it a second thought, as to be like, oh fuck, I just spent $25 on something or $20 on something that doesn't affect me in the game at all. which granted, I'm guilty of it too. Everyone's guilty of buying bundles, right?
Yeah.
But I'm talking about the people who will literally just buy it to buy it. They will literally buy the bundle because it's, oh my God, it's Terminator. Oh my God, it's Godzilla. Oh my God. Like,
oh my God, it's Walter White from Breaking Bad. I need this now.
Well, like that, well, that's the thing. Like people can be fans of the shows, absolutely. And if you're a fan of the show and you want to play as that character, cool, awesome, that's your thing. You knock yourselves out. But we're talking about the people that make it so that Activision makes over $1 million a day,
Yeah.
And so it's.
And I don't know. If
I don't know. It's just. How do I don't know. Yeah.
Go ahead. Well, all I was gonna say was, what was the last game that had like golden armor? Like in terms of like armor, like how like Black Ops 3 had your golden armor, and then Infinite Warfare had your Black Sky like armor customization, right?
Vanguard has that,
Right?
Vanguard has
right?
those like operator skins. Like if you complete the operator levels in a particular category and then you get skins, you get like the gold skin and like the elite skin or whatever it's called. Which some of them look cool, some of them don't, but it's kind of whatever. But man, it's just kind of this like it's weird. Call of Duty consumption is weird because on the one hand, you do have the people that I talk about that will literally just buy things and consume things just to consume it and not think about it. But then you have it on the other side of the spectrum where people are fed up and people are very disgruntled with everything. Like, we are. We're not the happiest right now when it comes to what's happening with just Vanguard and everything right now. And it's like there's no middle ground anymore. There's really no middle ground when it comes to Call of Duty. Everything is very kind of weird. Everything's kind of in this diluted state right now. And you either have like the people who are the super hardcore fans that will buy everything. Oh my God, everything is great. Everything is fine. This is just fine. I'm just going to play as much and consume as much as I can. Then you have the other people who will be like, well, this is actually bad because this, that. And then they can form their own opinion about it and then like not play the game. And then, it's just how it is. So I don't know. There just doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of middle ground anymore with how the community reacts to Call of Duty. Also, I think it's also because of the rise of the tryhard and the rise of the sweat in Call of Duty. Like, dude, nobody plays Call of Duty to have fun with Call of Duty anymore.
Like, no, it's all about being the next phase ninja. The next whatever COD, player you're thinking of, right, who's like in the competitive scene, it's all about being the next time. And to be honest, right, I think it's good to have competition, right? I think it's good to have that in-game competition, because you want to be the best and you want to try. It's like a sport, right? You want to be the best, right? But there's no point of being the best in a public match, a casual public match, right?
Well, that's the thing. Like, every lobby you come across, there's always some guy like jumping, drop shotting, like quick scope, 360. Like
it's important to say, right? Like you can try your best in a multiplayer game, right? I know there's an argument for tryharding that, like, well, are you just not trying hard enough? Like I can understand that argument, okay? That people want to win, people want to do good, and it's understandable. That's why you play, right? But at the same time, there's a certain extent where I think a lot of the player base who are just on there to have casual fun, who don't think any more of it, right? I think they're just like, why don't you just go competitive? Why?
Well, because it also is like, it's so fucking weird to me too that like Call of Duty, oh yeah, guys, we're gonna cater to the casual, and we're gonna make it so that the casual player has safe areas around the map and has all these places that they can hide and they can like learn how to play. And then like the casuals like barely use those spots, and it's the tryhards that actually you feed into that, and you have all those people who camp in the corners, they're riot shields and they're throwing knives, and they're got those kind of weird people. And then you have the people who will literally like not use any other gun that's not meta. Like they'll be like, oh my God, I have to get the new meta right away, and I have to that's all that Call of Duty is get the new meta, only use that. And, you know, I can only use this because I need to drop 50 kills in this game. And if I drop 50 kills in this public game, then I'm going to get signed to FaZe. And it's like, hey, if you want to get signed to FaZe and you want to get better at the game, that's more power to you. And you should want to get better if that's your end goal. And it's something that's like actually serious that you want to do. Just being good at public games and just being good at ranked play, even ranked play, just being good at that isn't always enough. You have to network. You have to meet people. You have to put yourself out there. You have to like do stuff, which also you could also say contributes to the downfall of the community too, because now then you have all these people, well, they're the next ninja, they're the next swag, they're the next J-God, they're the next whatever, right? Because, oh, look how good I am at the game, which, you know, with the content market out there too, the content creation market is very saturated. Very, very saturated. Pretty oversaturated, if I have to say so myself.
Yeah.
And so, yes, it's definitely a lot more difficult nowadays to break in, but you really got to want it. You really, really, really got to want it and put yourself in the positions to where you can get it. And a part of this, and the downside to it, is that casual gaming slowly dies. And the downfall is you cannot go on Call of Duty anymore and have a casual multiplayer experience without having somebody try hard. So it's give and take. Which one is the community going to prioritize? Is everyone going to be the next Call of Duty League Pro? Or are we going to be all casual? And are we going to play the game to have fun with the game? And we're going to play the game. It doesn't matter what gun you use. It doesn't matter what attachments you use. Are we just going to play the game to have fun with it? Or we're going to have to play the game because I think I can make $10 million overnight, you know? And a lot of people might be watching me right now going, wow, Jason, you're kind of shitting on these people. Wow, Jason, are you salty? Wow, are you like whatever? No, I'm literally just seeing it how it is. I mean, you cannot tell me that like the majority of the people out there who play Call of Duty are like not tryhards, because they are. And the more casual people and the people who just want to have fun with the game, the people who want to make like fun content with the game without having to try hard and sweat their balls off, that part of it gets hurt. And it's like I said, as a community, we have to decide which one do we want to do. Do we want to be the fun community, or do we want to be the try hard, everything is super serious, cracked up on G Fuel, you know, everything's about esports Call of Duty? And right now we're leaning towards the latter there. And you know, say with that what you will, it's just an observation that I have. Am I tired of the tryhards? Am I tired of not having or let me rephrase this. Am I tired of sweating my ass off every time I play Warzone, every time I play multiplayer? I am absolutely tired of it, because sometimes I just want to have fun, you know, because above all else, making content and being a content creator should be about fun. And then sometimes it doesn't make it fun. Oh, we'll get good and get, you know, blah, 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 right? But that's not the point. The point is sometimes I don't, you know, it's some sort of challenge or it's some sort of like unique thing that I want to do for a video. And it's like, you can't really do that because everyone else is like cracked on G Fuel.
I'll tell you something, right? And I think it's a pretty valid point to bring up. And Ape Thoughts actually made a whole video about this when he was still kind of relevant on the platform. The worst thing that I don't know why I'm black and white now.
What the hell?
I don't know why I'm black and white. I think Streamlabs is open by accident. Give it a second. I guess you're getting black and white cosmic for a bit.
That's okay.
I guess that's just how it goes. Well, that doesn't matter, right? I'll go on my point whilst I'm trying to fix this anyway. The worst thing to happen to Call of Duty is YouTube, in a way, because you have these YouTubers, right? And again, there's no issue with it, right? Because it's creating content about a game you love,
right?
Telling you the best classes, telling you the best strats, telling you how to do the best you can possibly in a game, right? And you get these people that want to, you know, play like that and want to learn. And it's, you know, it's something that people are going to, you know, copy and do. And then when everyone's using the best weapons, everyone's using the best strats, it all just comes and hits everyone like a brick wall in a way.
Right.
Where if you didn't have that information and you just tried stuff for yourself, maybe eventually you catch on like, okay, this gun's actually quite good. I'm going to use this one. but there wouldn't be so much of this like meta play style where people are so wanting to get the not wanting to be at a disadvantage, right? And again, there's not an issue with that, but Call would be a much more fun game if YouTube wasn't a thing. It'd be because that's what games are supposed to be at the end of the day, fun, right? There shouldn't have to be like an outside element to make a game enjoyable, right? So if you take away YouTube, right, away from all this, then we'd all be a lot more shit at games. I know for a fact, for me, for zombies at least, if I didn't look at guides, I'd be awful at it. I'd have to learn my own thing. I don't even think I know how to train. I don't think it'd click in my head. Training, that's the thing to do. I think the fact that I seen a video, taught me that, and that's a good thing as well because I want to be good at the game.
Right.
That like if that element wasn't there of people, these phase people, and then other people as well that just make guides and stuff on how to do good in game, then the game would be a lot more not smooth, but like less of these tryhards that we're talking about, right? Because there wouldn't be these people wanting to be the next like phase, whatever, right? You know what I mean?
Right. I get what you mean. And I think there's a discrepancy to be made between, everybody's a tryhard and, making content that's going to make you better at the game. Like for example, I make guides about how to get this gun, how to do this challenge, whatever, right?
Yeah. But that's different. That's not
different.
Like in the case like making a best class video. And again, these issues, these aren't bad, right? Because fundamentally, I'd want to know how the best class. I want to know what the best gun to use is, right? But by that knowledge being there, I know there's going to be hundreds of thousands, if not millions, watching that video and doing the same thing. You know what I mean?
The fundamental problem is not the creators, and it's not the content itself, because can you blame them? You make a video about this is the new Warzone gun and it gets fuckload of views because everybody wants to be just like that guy, and that's why it gets a lot of views. It's the player base. It's all,
it's a vicious cycle.
It's the people who will, not have an original thought in their head about how they want to play the game, and they have to play the game like everybody else, and they have to have the meta, and they have to be the tryhard, and they have to buy the rose skin, and they have to I'm talking about the people who will literally base their entire opinion about the game because someone told them to from a content creator. Now obviously our job as a content creator, we share people our opinions, and we tell people what we think, right? But I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh well, Call of Duty, you have to use this gun, you have to use this, or else you're just not a good player, or you're gonna get left behind, and you're not using the meta, so that means you're not gonna be the next Optic member. It's one of those things where it's like, oh yeah, I can recommend something like this is how you do this. This is how you are like, this is how you can do this, and this is how you do this easily, and this is a good strategy that I use and it worked for me. Maybe it'll work for you, and boom, that's my video. But we have so many of these people who are just engrossed in the Call of Duty culture, which can be a good thing and a bad thing. Again, there's give and take to everything, and you have so many of these people who will not have an original thought in their head about what they're doing, and which is exactly part of the reason why you have the people. So they will also be the same people who will buy every bundle and will buy every little thing in the shop because they don't have an original thought to them, to be honest. And again, that sounds really fucking harsh, but when you look around and you look at like fan bases and a lot of people nowadays, it's a lot of groupthink. It's a ton of groupthink. It's this is the general consensus of what everybody thinks, and this is how we're going to run our community, and we either run it for the better or we run it for the worse. And like I said before, the excessive tryharding and the sweating in video games, not even just Call of Duty, but it's rampant in Call of Duty. I think that's a bad thing. I think it neglects the actually having fun part of the game, and people are, because they think YouTube and everything's like super easy. So they think if they could just be really good at the game and stream their really good gameplay and not really do much else, then they're gonna like earn a bunch of money just by doing that. Which again, like I said, you got to put yourself out there. You have to, branding, marketing, networking, like getting yourself out there. Get on a challengers team, meet people, do stuff, and put yourself out there more. Oh, but it's hard to put yourself out there in an oversaturated market, like you said. True. Very true. Which is why you have to stand out. Which is why you have to do something unique for yourself and see if it sticks. And, see what happens. And, a lot of the consumers, a lot of people who watch the content also don't give all these newer people a try either. Because you also have all the bigger people that, YouTube is like another Netflix at this point, right? It's all production value. It's a show. It's a series. It's a whatever, right? It's always, it's become this big production value website where everything is like your new favorite Netflix show, where everything's like super crazy with the equipment and whatever, which is awesome. I love that YouTube and things like that can turn into big productions if you have the means to do that. And you should do that by all means to make yourself stand out if you have those tools. But because you also have the people out there too who will literally just watch people because they're big, or they'll just watch people and then agree with them because they have the bigger following. That's the problem. That's the problem, where people will literally just follow along and just not really think too much about it. And they'll just be like, oh, well, Noah J456 said this was good, so I'm going to say that's good too, because he's the bigger guy. And, that's what everyone else thinks. And
Mr. T Lexify said the HUD was bad. So
I mean,
this game is the worst game ever made.
And that's the discrepancy between, is it the creator's fault or is it the viewer's fault? That's 100% the viewer's fault, because they just follow it. They don't think too much about it. They just follow it. And if you genuinely think things are bad, cool. Okay. You agree with them and you made that thought yourself. But we're talking about a huge chunk of the people out there who will literally not have an original thought in their head because it's just the thing to think. And that's what everyone thinks. And that's the group think of the community.
Yeah.
And, it might sound like I'm thinking too much into this, and it might sound like I think everything is shit. The bottom line is, think for yourself. If you want to be really good at the game and you want to be like a super big try hard guy and that's like your MO, do something unique with it. Like, do something about it. Do something with it, not just like try hard in the public lobbies and I got 50 kills and that means I'm a good player.
A good example is These Knives Only. And for those who don't know, These Knives Only, he just knifes, right? That's his thing, right? And he's really good at the game, right? But he didn't start out thinking, oh, this will get really big. He started having fun with it. And he has his own identity now. He has his own he has pretty much his own business now, because that's his that's what he does different to everyone else.
Right.
That's what I think of when I think of people that play COD like in a unique way.
Right.
And again, if you want to be the best, you're going to have to use your your tutorials and what guns are the best and what attachments and stuff. But if you can nail playing the game in a certain way that wasn't meant to be played in, but you're beating these people with these overpowered guns, then you will, if you're entertaining as well, because it's not just down to that as well. Like you say, it's about, your marketing and stuff as well. But it's also about you. Are you entertaining as a person?
Right.
Because you could be really good at the game, but then, you don't bring anything else to it. So, it's just kind of gameplay at that point. And there are gameplay channels that do really well. But I think your videos and, if you want to be like, I don't know, the next big content creator, it has to be more than your gameplay, it has to be a bit, there's a bit of both. There's balance, right? If you're doing doing awful, right? If you go 0 and 25, but you have a great personality, maybe it kind of almost evens out if you have a really good personality. If you're the most entertaining person in the world, your thing is doing awful in games, right? Maybe that's your thing. Maybe you load into a game and you just do awful. You don't get any kills. That's it. That's what you do, right? You go in and you just don't shoot your gun, right? You just aim in. Maybe that's what you do, right? But I don't know. I think there's definitely a balance. You don't have to be the next. I don't know.
The bottom line is that it's a hard market to get into. It's not easy. Like you see all these overnight success people, right? I think that's the big misconception, right? You see everybody looks at it from the outside and they go, "Wow, look at this guy who just, all of a sudden just woke up one day and he was super famous," which some people are that literally does happen. And
Yeah.
a lot of the content is like weird content too, so that it's like a lot of the people who do blow up actually aren't contributing anything to society. So you do have those, and it's weird to see, but you also have the people too who have the millions of subscribers that have worked for years on end and have worked and grinded their ass off to get to where they are. So the misconception of I can do that. Oh yeah, I can just do that if I'm just good at the game. Well, maybe you're really good at the game, but what else can you do? What other skills do you have? You know, but YouTube and the content creation game isn't just about that. And what kind of other skills do you have? Because everybody can go look up a gameplay commentary of like, oh, I went 50-0 in Search and Destroy, or like I know you don't literally go 50-0 in Search and Destroy, but like you get what I mean, where you have the you can just go look up insane gameplay already, but like what else can you do? And so with the try hard culture in Call of Duty, they literally just think it's just being good at the game. And that's what's going to get me the recognition. And that's what's going to, but then if you don't have any branding, Fart Smeller 77 over here, that's his like username on Vanguard. Sure, he may have, 30-10 in ranked play, but like what's your brand? Like what do you bring to the table? Are you a team player? What, like who are you? And so a lot of people, they just think it's like this easy thing where it's like, oh, I'm good at the game and I'm just going to try hard and I'm just going to, whatever. And then, like I said before, it also ruins people's experiences who want to just have fun with the game too.
Yeah.
So Call of Duty, the one word that we can use to describe Call of Duty is dichotomy. You have the two extremes on both sides of, just this weird spectrum of Call of Duty. You have the one side of the spectrum with everybody being a tryhard. They won't think about things too much. They'll just, do it for the sake of doing it because it's content, and they'll just play anything because it's just something to play. Then you have the other end of the spectrum who is very disgruntled with the game, and they don't really like what's going on with Vanguard in the direction of the series, and they think it's become too much to say the least.
Yeah.
It's become too much of a money grab for a lot of people, and people don't feel a connection. They feel very disenfranchised with the franchise that they grew up with, and there's no middle ground anymore. I really don't see there being a middle ground for a lot of people anymore. All I see is like either one of the other nowadays, and you know all I gotta say is no matter what side that you end up being on, whether you're the consume to consume or wait a minute, this is actually not good, I'm not going to play every single thing you do, whichever side you're on, please make it be an original thought. Please make it be your own thought and not decided because a groupthink thought tank said that was going to be your opinion. And today that's what we think. And today we think Black Ops 4 is really good, even though we hated it 2 years ago. And, please just make your opinion like your own fucking opinion. So that's what it boils down to at the end of the day. I'm done talking about psychology now, and I'm done talking about the mass psychosis that has become our society. But, man, Modern Warfare 2 has got to be a good game. Modern Warfare has got to be a good game. I'm looking forward to seeing if Gunfight, if that's implemented into this game, if it's really good. I'm looking forward to seeing if anything about it is good. DMZ could be unique. I don't know, man.
I hope Champion Hill comes back.
I don't.
I love Champion. I remember when we played it that one time and we hated it.
Because it's gunfight and battle royale in this weird hybrid game mode, and they also didn't update it at all. By the way,
if they updated it, then fair enough, right? They could have made it something special, but they didn't. Right. It's kind of like, again, COD they throw in these game modes, right? That unique, that every COD game that launches, there is a unique game mode with it, right? For example, Champion Hill for Vanguard, for Black Ops Cold War. Honestly, I can't think of what that would be. But with
Fire Team,
well, there you go, Fire Team, right? Then with Modern Warfare, obviously you have gunfight. You have these game modes that actually, actually do something unique and
Yeah.
impressive and interesting, right? With
Yeah.
Black Ops 4, you had that heist mode that, that
Right.
this rip off CS:GO game mode, which was all right, but like no one played it after a week, right? Because everyone goes to TDM. Everyone goes to TDM unless the game mode
Yeah.
is something truly special, right? And the only other game mode I think is actually stand out that they've added in to like a COD franchise, but which isn't in the game anymore because I guess people just don't play it enough, is Uplink. I really miss
Oh yeah,
Uplink.
Uplink was fun.
As far as competitive goes, right, it was a really good game mode. I think
Yeah.
it benefited really from the exosuits, but even in World War II, it was a fun game mode, right? Because it
Yeah.
was in World War II, and it still played all right. It wasn't the most unique game mode we've had in a while for COD, right? I would say so at least. And even World War II, man, like you got war mode. That was incredible. That completely changed the way you played the game,
Right.
but in a good way,
Right.
right? And they didn't just stop at like 2 maps. They actually kept updating it. So I don't know, man. I think they're yeah, they're if they're gonna try a new game mode, first of all, it needs to be like updated, right? Because
Yeah.
I think that's the problem with a lot of current game modes. And I think that's why Gunfight did so well, is because they kept updating it with new maps. And even
Right.
in Cold War, I mean, I think a lot of people prefer the Modern Warfare version of it. I don't know what version you prefer more. Do you prefer Gunfight on Cold War or Modern Warfare more?
I personally prefer the Cold War version of it more just because I just like Cold War's movement more than the Modern Warfare style of movement. And I like the
Yeah.
maps more too.
Mhm.
But I mean, Gunfight, for what it's worth, it's a really unique kind of take on, the kind of, it kind of reminds me of an arena shooter a little bit, where, you got these very small maps and it's very close quarters, and it's very, you have the search and destroy aspect of it where you die, you don't come back to life in the round and whatever, right? So you got this hybrid game mode here, and it's like everybody is also on an even playing field too. So like your literal skill, your raw gun skill will be the thing that makes you win the game, instead of
Yeah.
like, I'm using the meta weapon again, and it's like, okay, dude, but um that's the charm of it to me. It's a hybrid game mode that does something very unique. Everybody's on an even playing field, not because it's like, oh, we need everybody to be even and we need everybody to have a fair chance, right? Well, your
Yeah.
chance is your gun skill. It's not
Mhm.
fair, actually, because if you go up against someone who's like a quickscoper and you have snipers, well, that guy's going to have more gun skill than you. So, it's not even just the argument of, well, everybody is even and that's what makes it fair and balanced. No, it doesn't. It's like, are you good with every gun in the game? Like, can you be good with every gun? And can you pick up a gun literally from like one round to the next and like do something with it? And that's what's unique to me.
Yeah.
So I hope it comes back in Modern Warfare 2. DMZ, if that's going to be the new hit game mode that everyone's going to like, please update the shit out of it and, make good content. And yeah, man, the beta's happening in September, middle of September. Looking forward to playing the beta, seeing what happens. And, yeah, man, I guess that's about it for Modern Warfare 2, right? I mean, we did have that multiplayer map preview, right? Marina Bay Grand Prix.
But they didn't show much, right?
Not
That
a
could have been
lot.
something just in Modern Warfare, and it's fine. At least like they've shown that there's one map that's finished. That's a good start, you know.
Mm,
So I mean, I'll take it. Would I have liked a quick glimpse of multiplayer, just like the running mechanics and like the sliding and stuff? Obviously, I would like to see some of the quick changes and stuff, but they're holding that for later, I guess. So
yeah.
let's just hope the game is actually finished and it works, and they're not just buying time. I
Yeah.
mean, saying that, they're releasing it earlier than they normally would, so I'm assuming that they must be pretty confident with themselves. And
We shall see.
since they're building off of Modern Warfare 2019, I assume that it shouldn't be that much for them. It's not like they're making a brand new IP,
Yeah.
like going from Ghost to Infinite Warfare to then Modern Warfare. So it should be fine.
Yeah. I think the bottom line is the future is very interesting. If all the cards, if they play their cards right and everything aligns, I think the future can be very, very interesting for Call of Duty, and I think it could be a good future. Um but we'll just have to see what they do with it. Above all else, we'll have to see what they do with it, and we'll see if the content is actually good. And the beta is going to be a huge determiner, I think, for not just me, but for a lot of people, I think. And
I think so as well.
If you were lucky enough to get a beta code by watching Champs, which I ended up getting a beta code from the drops that they had, I can play the beta without pre-ordering it. And so now I can actually get my thoughts on the game before I decide to buy it or not. Because even though I'm a Call of Duty guy and 90% of what I post on my channel is Call of Duty, I still want to make sure I'm getting my money's worth. And so betas are like super important for that, because like I said earlier, for the most part, betas are kind of whatever the game's going to be already, minus a couple of like name changes for guns, or like the hit marker sound is different or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, that's true. It mostly just comes down to that. Do you remember the Black Ops 3 beta when the AN 94 was called the ARC?
Right. Yeah. The KN was the ARC 7.
And it's like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, that's about all that changed there.
Pretty much. Or like the Black Ops Cold War beta, the Milano 821 was the Type 821. And so, little changes like that.
With the Cold War beta, though, they did change a lot of the gun noises and a lot of the reload animations as well. They like tightened up stuff for it. Like that's something I noticed, at least. Like the gun sounds. Yeah, if you listen to the beta versions and then the final versions that you get in game, they sound a lot beefier in game. They actually sound like half decent. And I'll tell you something, right? Going from Black Ops 4 to Cold War, you realize how bad the guns sound in Black Ops 4. Like if you listen to a gun comparison video of like all the guns in BO4 to all the guns in Cold War, it's like a night and day. Black Ops 4 guns, as much as I like Black Ops 4, they sound awful.
That's interesting. I'll have to compare that.
I know they're just like, like fun weapons they made up because they're in the future and stuff, but they all pretty much sound the same apart from a few differences. Like, yeah, I mean, if you're interested, take some time. You'll really appreciate Cold War and the sound design of it. And yeah.
Well, there we go, guys. I think we talked about a lot of interesting things on this episode of the podcast. Modern Warfare 2, obviously being the big one. Vanguard being Vanguard. And, just how people in this weird community of ours, weird in a good way and bad way, of course, but, and how people in this community react to content and stop being a tryhard. So, do you have any other final thoughts before we wrap things up here for this episode?
Just that, I know we talking a lot more about Modern Warfare before we actually see gameplay and stuff off it. And again, underlining, I just hope it's good. I hope it's a good game.
Yeah.
But again, like, I don't know. It's just such a vicious cycle that I feel like I can't have my hopes up anymore. And it shouldn't be like that. It should be the opposite, where we're excited for the next game and it delivers. But I don't know. I keep looking back. I don't know if it's just nostalgia or whatever, but like I look back to like Black Ops 2. I look back to Black Ops 2 and think like, man, that game's so good, and these new games, they don't compare to it. So like, I don't know, man. Maybe we're just getting old.
Maybe that could very well be.
Maybe we need to retire and play some Minecraft and have a farm there or something. Maybe our brains aren't designed for COD anymore.
Man, who knows? Maybe maybe things are just, you outgrow certain things, and I'm not to say that I'm gonna outgrow Call of Duty, but you kind of look at things differently sometimes when you have a little bit of extra time to think. And recently I have had more time to think about what's going on with the gaming world and the content creation world, and I've been very introspective recently about everything, and it's made me kind of realize that things are a little bit more bleak than people realize, but they don't have to be. They don't have to be. It all comes down to if the game developers are actually interested in catering to the fans and like making good experiences for everybody, or if they just don't care about that and everything is just about oh, how much money can we squeeze out of these suckers with more bundles. So we'll see what ends up happening for that, not even just for Call of Duty but for the future games out there as well that do the same thing. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for watching this episode of the Division Z podcast. What was your favorite part? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. I know we talked about a lot of weird things on this episode, but it's very important to have conversations like this because, you know, sometimes you can't just talk about the same games over and over again because there's only so much to talk about sometimes. And, you know, getting into the psychology of it a little bit more and getting into more of the community aspect of how the community reacts to things is fascinating in itself because it's very... you know, you kind of get an insight as to the masses a little bit too.
Yes.
And the maybe more wider aspect of maybe society. We live in a society.
We live in a society.
So, you know, we take with that, take from that what you will. And thank you again for watching. Check out all the links down below in the description so you stay up to date with everything that we do. And with that said, have a fantastic rest of your day or night, depending on where you are in this crazy world. And we'll see you guys next time. Peace out.
Bye, everyone.